Fellow Americans.
The president's weekly address, on message, on auto cue.
I was thrilled to host the White House's Women's Business Leaders Roundtable. Very exciting, great women.
Such a contrast to yesterday's wild ride press conference.
I want to find a friendly reporter.
He berated a reporter who prefaced a question about the rise of anti-Semitic attacks by saying no one was accusing the president himself of anti-Semitism.
Number one, I am the least anti-Semitic person that you've ever seen in your entire life. Quiet, quiet, quiet. See, he lied about he was going to get up and ask a very straight, simple question. So, you know, it's welcome to the world of the media.
Never met.
The media, even the ever-faithful Fox News, is reeling, especially shocked at the president's evasive responses about Russian hacking.
It's crazy what we're watching every day. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. He keeps repeating ridiculous throwaway lines that are not true at all and sort of avoiding this issue of Russia as if we're some kind of fools for asking the question. Really? Your opposition was hacked and the Russians were responsible for it, and your people were on the phone with Russia on the same day it was happening, and we're fools for asking the questions? No, sir. We are not fools for asking these questions, and we demand to know the answer to this question. You owe this to the American people. Your supporters will support you either way. If your people were on the phone with her, what were they saying? We have a right to know.
The forced resignation of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn over questionable links with Russia is roiling not only the White House but the Kremlin. Russian TV stations have abruptly stopped mentioning President Trump. They didn't cover yesterday's press conference after weeks of fawning coverage. And one newspaper warned today against excessive Trumpophilia. It's all becoming quite tricky. General Robert Harwood, the president's first choice to replace Flynn, has turned down the job, and dozens of other administration positions remain unfilled.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
But now, back to the part of the job he really likes. The pomp and ceremony, the cheering crowds. Today at a Boeing factory in South Carolina, reinforcing his message about jobs to the voters who put him in the White House.
As your president, I'm going to do everything I can to unleash the power of the American spirit and to put our great people back to work.
And tomorrow, he's off to his resort retreat at Mar-a-Lago and to a rally to address not the despised media, but his adoring fans.
Well, I'm now joined from Boston by Julius Krein, founding editor of American Affairs, an academic journal exploring the Trump movement. And from New York is Varsha Sharma, the managing editor of Now This News. Julius Krein first, do you have any qualms about Donald Trump's performance yesterday?
Well, I was, of course, quite sympathetic with a number of the criticisms Trump raised against the bipartisan status quo during the campaign, and I'm still broadly optimistic about what the administration could theoretically accomplish. But I am very concerned and have been disappointed by the delays in getting qualified, capable people into the government and into the administration to be able to actually accomplish parts of this agenda. I think there are still far too many openings, especially in the State Department and now in the NSC, which need to be filled.
But specifically about his performance in front of the media there, I mean, the former Republican advisor, Gabriel Schoenfeld, wrote today that there was something deeply worrying with our president and the country is in danger. He described the performance as delusional. Do you share those concerns?
Well, the media, of course, cares a lot about press conferences. I'm not sure that anyone else does. I'm far more concerned about what's going on behind the scenes, or in this case, what's not happening and what's not getting done. The media circus will always be there. Unfortunately, it's become part of our politics, and this is the way he deals with it. But I'm much more interested in the actual things that are not happening.
Varsha Sharma, is the media getting too obsessed with what happened yesterday, or are you concerned about the ranting and raving as it was described by the president, sort of semi-ironically himself?
Yeah, I think there's a balance to strike. I think that Julius is right in that maybe there's a lot of Trump's base who didn't watch his daytime press conference, but they're certainly seeing the clips that are coming out after. And these clips are all about Trump, right? It's all about his war on the press and about how he feels like he's been unfairly maligned, even though what's happening behind the scenes, as Julius mentioned, is actually pretty chaotic. So I think there are legitimate concerns that the press and the American public have about a display like what happened at the press conference yesterday. And it's not even just the ranting and raving, right? It's the fact that he is dodging questions or flat out lying in some cases. And so that's what's really important.
But then he's winning.
A president.
Then he's winning then, isn't he? If he's getting his message across and, you know, distracting attention away from the whole hoo-ha over Russia.
Well, I mean, I think that's debatable because you have, as you guys played, you have Shep Smith of Fox News going off and saying that what we're seeing is crazy. So I think, you know, once you start to lose Fox News, then you should probably recalibrate your media strategy.
Well, Julius Krein, I mean, you say the media is becoming sort of too obsessed with the media themselves, but has this hounding of journalists gone too far? I mean, it wasn't a comfortable spectacle watching the president berate the Jewish journalist at the press conference, was it?
Yeah, I think at this point it's probably not helpful. It is just part of the media circus in our politics. But again, I think in a sense Trump would be better served by, you know, skipping the press conferences and focusing more on filling out the administration and actually getting a team in place to develop and implement policy. But with respect to the media and, you know, the treatment of the media, I'm not that concerned about it. I'm not sure, you know, any real voters are either.
Varsha Sharma, the public's going to be with Donald Trump on a lot of what he said yesterday and against what he called the dishonest media, aren't they?
They are. So I think what's important to remember is Trump's attacks on the press may play well with his base, but they don't necessarily play well with facts. And if he continues to dodge questions, distract from issues, and not actually bring jobs back to the American people, then I think he'll start losing people quite quickly. I did speak to Trump supporters here who said that they were concerned by the fact that he can't really seem to give a coherent answer on some of these more concerning issues.
Well, a lot of the journalists, though, rather than tackling him on the facts, sort of played along and were quite happy, apparently, to be the butt of his jokes.
Yeah, the joking that we saw back and forth between some of the reporters, I think, was not the right take for the White House press corps to take. But more importantly, as you mentioned, the Jewish reporter and then also April Ryan, an African-American reporter that he asked if she knows any black members of Congress. These are the moments that we need to highlight and be talking about because they really show what Trump thinks of minorities.
Julius Krein, away from the press conference, chaos reigns. You'd agree with that statement?
Well, that may be a little much, but there's certainly a lot of things that need to get done that haven't been concluded yet.